How to get smooth edges when using Imagery 3D. Hello everyone, in this video is a response to a question I received of how to remove the jagged edges from Imagery 3D. So I want to show you what the problem is. I'm going to show you first the basics, and then I'm going to show you some other options and other type of images as well. To get started, this is the default settings without changing anything. I took a random image that I downloaded from Google, something that has enough details that I can illustrate what I wanted to show. So if you want to get this object, for example, over here, you actually get the background. I have a different video how to cut out pieces. You may want to watch that as well, which will give you kind of ideas how you can actually use this in cut out. The main idea is just, in short, you can kind of, let's say, increase the amount, and then you can slice off this piece and so on and work with these type of stuff. But this is not what this video is going to show you. So in this type of image, what you can actually do is reduce the tolerance. So I'm going to reduce the tolerance, let's say it's 0.9, and in this case, I am getting the image that I expected. The problem here is that all these edges are kind of pixelated. They are not, definitely not smooth edges, and it's very difficult to use without going to sculpting later and smoothing them out. You can do that with sculpting, but that's obviously takes a lot of time and effort. Okay, so how can you get this done? So the simple answer is to use Simplify. Simplify is designed exactly for this, but it's not as simple. So you see, if I increase the tolerance, Simplify will simplify everything. So what this does basically, it's a post-processing, and this is actually the most process intense that you have on the entire everything here, because this is a post-processing. So we first take the image, and then Simplify will try to find edges and actually redo them and simplify them. And if I have a tolerance of something here, it simplifies the flat side also, it removes the entire image. So I can start playing with the tolerance 0.95, let's say, and something like that. And this actually is giving me something better, but it's not perfect. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to play with the other settings. So I'm going to reduce the precision. So first of all, let's see what it's working. So precision actually is not the case. I think I can increase the blur factor. Yes. So if I increase the blur, it gives me a little bit more wiggle room to work with. And in this case, it's still not perfect because I need to probably reduce the precision. Is not going to work. So what I need to do here is probably increase the resolution as well. And this actually takes a second to think. You see, it took like a second or so. It doesn't have like an icon for waiting. Maybe it should be added. So you have to be aware that sometimes if you click on Simplify, things will take just a second. It's probably not more than a second, but still. But if you see this combination, it's not like rocket science. It's just that you have to understand the concept, then you know what to play with. So I have a resolution that gives me kind of the number of details of the geometry. I have a tolerance which tells me like when to remove background and this type of stuff, which tells you customize what part of the image convert in 3D shape. We have these tooltips that explains what this is. And then you have the amount. The amount doesn't really make a big difference. It's just how much I'm adding it, how quick. But this will, in this case you can scale it later also. This doesn't really make a big difference. I have the blur factor, which obviously adds some more roughness to it. And in this case, it doesn't really make a big difference. The Simplify is what simplifies everything and reduces, kind of takes a lot of edges and reduces them into more something simple. But as I shown before, if I increase my tolerance, it will simplify the entire shape and you will be left with nothing. So if I reduce the tolerance and I have something like this, then it will kind of post-process and run over all of the edges and see where it can simplify it. But it depends on the precision also. So you see, the precision is reduce the complexity of the engraved image. And if I play with the precision, so in this case was a combination of the high resolution and a low precision. If I increase a large precision, it will need much more precision, and then it starts getting, it's still smooth actually, but the edges over here are less rounded. So that's basically in this case. In every case is different, obviously, how this works. But you see, if I do a very low precision, it already starts getting pixelated. So in this case, a precision of 2 or more is what you need. So that's basically the idea. Okay, so let me show you some other idea. We have this type of image. Another idea I'll show you is here that you can actually use convert them into. So I did a search on Google, convert image to SVG, and I found Adobe. I think I need to log into it to use it. I'm not sure, but if I remember correctly. So I took the second over here, which seems to be working as expected. I already tested it. And you have over here two types of images. So I'm going to download this lion just to show you. I'm going to download the original. Simply click to download, save image as this one lion, and download this, and then I'll download this as well. Download SVG and lion, and then I'm going to test my own image that I just used, and I'm going to show you the difference between these images. So now I'm going to use this image that I used before, and here you get it converts it like in a second into SVG. So I'm going to download the SVG, and what I'm going to do now here is go back to my program, and instead of using Image 3D, you can actually use Image 3D. Just to show you, you can import an SVG as well to Image 3D, and it will give you a more smooth results in some cases. I'll have to probably increase the tolerance. No, without the tolerance, it will give me like something like this. It will give me different results. You can play around. Without the simplify, it actually may be better. It looks like it's inverted, so I have to probably flip the background in this case, so you get something like this, and you can play around. But that's kind of similar to the image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the simple import, and I'm going to import the SVG. So I'm importing this SVG, and some reason it scaled it very big, and actually because it's so big, it increased my workspace settings automatically to fit it. So I'm just going to scale it down. I don't need that big, but still I'm going to leave it big enough to work with. And so this is the image. It looks like this is a signature. I haven't seen this in the image. Looks like this was added. So I'm going to clean it up a little bit. I'm going to go to the face mode, and I'm going to select this and delete this. Okay, so I have this basic image, and now what I'm going to do is go to extrusion. Simply extrude that, and I'm extruding this image, and this is obviously much nicer. What they have done is also not perfect. You see, some of them have holes, some not. This is a direct results, not from SelfCAD direct results, what they have. If you see over here, this is the image that they gave you. This is filled in, this has a hole. So somehow the way it works on these pixels, it found some that has a hole, some not. In SelfCAD, you know, same thing over here. You can actually clean this up in SelfCAD, kind of close these things. That could be done. Probably the easiest way is to do it in the on the SVG directly. So if I take this inside shape, I can select them and simply delete them. So I'm gonna take these inside, delete them, and now let's use extrusion. And as you can see, we get a much nicer, clean view that we got with Image 3D. So in this case, it's just converting it to SVG and then simply use SVG. I have another video explaining how to use SVG. There's a lot of times you have broken SVGs. In that case, SelfCAD has many tools. Magic Fix can help in some SVGs, and Geometry Clean. There's some tools over there we can use, which I explain in another video. Okay, so now I want to show you the idea on different type of shapes. So if you think about the line example they have over there, if I'm going to import the line example, this line SVG or this one, it's actually same thing. I tested it twice. Okay, so this gives me this big shape over here. Extrusion actually doesn't allow me to use it because it's too complex. So what I'm going to do here is I simply need to split this off into two sections. I'm selecting just one part of it, and I'm splitting it off. So now I have just one part of it, and now I can actually extrude this part. So if I do extrusion, and it takes also again like a second or two, and it extrudes it, and it extrudes actually quite nice based on the way the polygons look. But this reduces a lot of details. I'll show you in Image 3D. This is a use case where SVG is losing details. It's not SelfCAD's losing details, it's just the SVG cannot contain this number of details. So what I'm going to do over here is let's delete these type of shapes, and I'm going to go to Image 3D and import the original line example. So I'll take this JPEG file, the line example, and over here I'm going to increase back the tolerance, and look over here what I got. So I'm going to not unflip the background, reduce the blur, and high resolution. So this is where these type of jagged edges is not a problem. This is actually what you want. You want to have all the fine details, and it looks nice on the edges, you know, the way you do it. If you simplify this, it's going to reduce everything, maybe reducing tolerance. Yeah, you see, it will give you the shape, but will be similar to the SVG, kind of reduce everything, and that's not what you want. So you don't want to simplify this. This is an example where what I've shown in my other video, so where you cannot use tolerance to reduce the details. You can actually, but it's not going to be perfect, especially not simplify. So you will be left with these edges. So the better idea would be to actually finalize the shape and then later cut them out. So we can later cut out the shape, and that's basically the idea. In many simple ways, but let me just show you one simple way over here how this could be done. I can use cut with plane, and I'm going to choose the front back plane. Okay, and I can move it. I can snap the offset to kind of, let's say, here, and then I use in advanced settings, I'll use the option to split object and to fill the cuts. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this off, simply cut this off, and it has a lot of edges. We're talking, okay, so it takes a second, and let's just isolate just this part, and you can see we got this. So here we get actually quite a nice view. It's relatively fine, and it got only this shape, and with the SVG you could have never gotten this detail. So actually it has no relatively smooth edges as well. Everything's relatively smooth. And yeah, so it's a combination. So basically the idea in short, every use case is different. The combination of tools, sometimes the best idea is import SVG, sometimes the best idea is to use the inner tools like simplify and lower tolerance, and sometimes the idea is just to export and later cut them off like I just did. Okay, I hope this was helpful. And in my other video I also discuss how to paint different sections of it, give it different colors, and you're welcome to find that on my channel and watch that as well. Okay, thanks so much. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.